headline here is that Donald Trump wanted to quickly and swiftly move away from the Matt Gaetz news. He wanted to stem the narrative around Gaetz. Gaetz stepped out of the race last night, and Trump very quickly had Pam Bondi's name available and ready for him. She's not as much of a household name as Representative Gaetz was, but she is certainly a household name for Trump. As you said, she was a Trump loyalist, long known to him, involved in his impeachment trials during his first term, the former AG of Florida. And according to Trump, she's ready to step in and refocus the Department of Justice and make America safe again. So he will have what he was looking for, which is somebody who is quite aligned with his objectives for that department.
Gaetz seemed to be known for all the wrong reasons. There was some speculation that maybe it was damaging for Trump. Did it even touch the sides, given how quickly he's come up with a replacement?
Matt Gaetz will have been a contained entity for Trump. It will not have blowback. By the time we get to January 20th, 2025, we will not be speaking of that. It's not to say that we will never hear from Gaetz again. Obviously, he has political designs. There's question about whether he's going to have to, if he's going to look to seek re-election in a future race. But Gaetz himself lost the confidence of Republicans. He was not going to get confirmed. He saw the writing on the wall, and he quickly bowed out to prevent any blowback for Trump.
Let's talk about Pete Hegseth as well. One of the other nominees here, the transition team has been looking at. Do you think he has a chance of succeeding in his bid?
There is some vulnerability with some of these picks. Hegseth is one of those. And that's because of the news that we've had come out over this week around his previous activities and the allegations that have been made against him, which he says his campaign says he was cleared of. But it's also because of his just general inexperience. So it's coupled with the fact that it's a very big role he's being asked to fill. The Department of Defense is the largest, has the highest budget of any department in the U.S. government. And he just, quite frankly, doesn't have the bureaucratic experience to lead such an organization. So there is potential for vulnerability there. There is suggestion that Republicans remain at this moment behind him. And we know that with the results that have been called in Pennsylvania, for example, overnight, that Bob Casey has lost to McCormick, the Republicans now lead the Senate. They've picked up 4 seats. So for that confirmation process, Republicans are in a better position to get through Trump's nominees than, say, they would have been before the election.
Just contextualize for us about the priorities for any defense secretary, because the war in Ukraine has stepped up thanks to Biden just in recent days around the use of U.S. missiles, and we're seeing retaliation from the Russians about the sort of warheads they're now deploying. What is the priority for any incoming defense secretary?
As you say, this is a moment of vast geopolitical uncertainty. The next president, Donald Trump, and his Department of Defense, the leadership, will be facing the war in Ukraine ongoing, the war in the Middle East ongoing. As you highlight, Biden made this swift policy change over the weekend to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles into Russia. Russia has quickly responded, and Putin has confirmed overnight that they did, in fact, use a new type of hypersonic missile against Ukraine. So the stakes are incredibly high. Europe itself is on pins and needles and quite anxious about what the leadership of the Department of Defense, what Matt Whitaker, who's been selected to be the head of the NATO envoy for the U.S., what the policy will be. Will U.S. remain as committed to NATO, as committed to Ukraine as they have long expected, as they saw under the Biden administration? And there's, quite frankly, a big question mark over those concerns.